My name is Elena, and the phrase that ruined everything didn't come from a mouth, but from a screen. A simple text that read, "Your sister knows. Half the company is hers. We have to get married now." That morning, I thought it was the happiest day of my life. I was preparing my wedding dress, a perfect white lace, while Daniel, my fiancé, slept peacefully. We had been together for 5 years. He was the love of my life, my rock. But curiosity pricked me when his phone, which he never left unattended, rang and showed only one line in the message preview. I unlocked the phone. The message was from someone named Miranda, a name Daniel swore only belonged to a colleague. But upon reading the full conversation, my world collapsed. Miranda was not a colleague. She was my younger sister, Carla. The conversation was a cold exchange of strategies to secure control of the family business, which my grandmother had stipulated I would inherit entirely only if I married before turning 30. I turned 30 in 3 days. The rivalry between Carla and I had always been silent. I was the heiress, the CEO in training, she the eternal runner-up. Talented, but eclipsed. Carla's message was clear. The clause is firm. She can't get married, destroy her at the engagement party, disqualify her morally, and the inheritance is divided. But the message that destroyed me was Daniel's last one to Carla. The plan changed. Elena signed over half the shares to me as a wedding gift yesterday. We don't have to destroy her anymore. We will get married, and the next day I will sell my half to you for a symbolic figure. You keep the company, and I keep the money from the trust fund. Elena is left with nothing but married to the love of her life. It's perfect. I understood the complete betrayal. Daniel was not only marrying me for money, but he was going to use me to consolidate control only to sell it to my sister under the table afterward. They used me as a pawn to dismantle my grandmother's last will. I didn't cry. I got dressed. An hour later, Daniel and I were at the altar. He smiled with that false look of eternal love. I had the details of their plan etched into my mind. Just as the officiant asked, "Do you accept this man?" Carla burst in, dressed in black, screaming, "No, he's mine! Elena, Daniel is betraying you for me!" Daniel and Carla thought this was the moment of moral destruction, to nullify the marriage and divide the inheritance. But I smiled. "Carla, dear sister," I said, my voice calm but amplified by my hidden microphone, "you're late. The grandmother's clause didn't just require me to get married. It required that my future husband not be engaging in active financial fraud against the company at the time of the signing." I pulled out my phone and displayed the evidence on a screen projected for all the guests, including my grandmother's lawyers. "Daniel, the message you sent to Carla where you detail the sale of shares before the wedding is proof of corporate fraud. You would never have kept half. You were going to sell it to my sister. And by trying to marry me, knowing you were going to embezzle the family company, you and Carla violated the grandmother's final clause. The final twist. Last night, Daniel and I signed the transfer of rights for half of my shares, but they weren't for him, they were for our grandmother. Grandma, foreseeing something like this, placed a hidden clause. If the heir attempted to transfer shares before the 30th day due to fraud, the company would pass to a charitable trust and nobody would inherit it. Grandmother had won from the grave. Daniel and Carla, in their greed, not only failed to get the company, but Daniel was arrested right there for corporate fraud based on the testimony of Carla, who had written everything in her messages. Carla stood paralyzed, watching her ambition leave her without the company and without her accomplice. Daniel was led away in handcuffs. I removed my veil. The love of my life had destroyed me, but by exposing their plan, I saved the company and ensured that neither he nor my sister benefited from the betrayal. Justice. Cold, swift, and very well dressed.